Hello, welcome back to Hamilton Homestead. This is Adrienne. If you've been following my channel for a while, you probably know that I have a love for cooking. My mom and dad were both great cooks, and from a very early age, I have loved food. I love eating food. I love preparing food. I love trying new dishes. I love trying new cooking techniques, and I love cooking for people I love. I love having people around my dinner table. I love sharing with friends. So that's just a deep-seated side of Adrienne. And today, though, obviously I'm in the kitchen again, and I'm going to bring you along as I prepare John and I's main meal for the day. Now, unlike my other cooking videos where I use a recipe as a guideline, and I've done quite a bit of prep because I'm recording a video for YouTube and I want it to be a worthy video. So I do a lot of prep work for those cooking videos that I've posted. Sometimes I've practiced on the menu beforehand so that it goes smoothly, and there's a lot that goes into those cooking videos. But in today's video, I'm going to do it a little different, and I have no recipe. There is zero planning. I do, however, have some food that I have pulled out of my refrigerator that needs to be used. And growing up as kids, all of us kids were, it was instilled upon us at a very early age that you do not waste food. And when food goes bad in my refrigerator, I feel a tremendous amount of guilt. And, a little part of me shrivels up and retreats to the corner and sits there for a little while. I really don't like wasting food, and it does happen. But today's meal doesn't, I don't think it really, well, actually, I do think today's meal falls in the category of frugal, in that I'm preparing a meal using leftovers from previous meals and making the most out of the money that I have already invested in these resources. So yeah, I guess I'm being a little bit frugal too. Okay, so I'm going to get you off this tripod, and I'll show you what I've pulled out of the refrigerator. Okay, so I pulled out this mushroom stuffed ravioli from the freezer, and it's been in there a while. It's got a little age on it. You can see some ice crystals on it, but it's fine. It's going to cook up just fine. We had a prime rib roast over the holidays, and I'm going to slice up what's left and use that. I also have the spinach and mushrooms that we used on our spinach salad that I am going to use, and I have a small amount of asparagus. I might as well use that as well. So I'm going to use all of this for our main meal today. I'm not entirely sure what the end result's going to be, but I'm going to bring you along and you're going to get to see it. And it's likely that as I put this together, I might change direction. I might change my mind. I might do something totally different than what I'm thinking right now. But right now, I see an Alfredo-inspired sauce with beef tips and mushroom and spinach over ravioli. Sounds kind of elegant, doesn't it? I pulled a couple other things out of the refrigerator. I've got some Gruyere cheese there I'm going to grate up. That's my homemade Parmesan. Of course, I'm going to use some butter. There's a small chunk of cream cheese I can use, and I also have some cream and some chicken broth. So I'm not going to make you watch me wash and chop all the vegetables. So I'll get that done, and we'll come back here and we'll put this together. Spinach, mushrooms, found a little red onion in the refrigerator, asparagus. I also chopped up a little of my green onion for garnish. Need a couple cloves of garlic. As any good Alfredo sauce will have garlic in it, of course. And the ravioli cooked up beautifully. It is not mushroom ravioli. It is a spinach and cheese, which will work equally well with our leftover prime rib, which I obviously trimmed up and diced. And I took the rib bones and took the good meat off of it. And now the scraps and the bones are in the crock pot underwater, and I'm making a little beef stock and butter and the cheeses. So let's get going. I did want to look. I have a jar of Alfredo in my prepper pantry, and I want to see what the ingredients are in it. So let me grab it. Bertolli Alfredo sauce, I keep this in my prepper pantry. And then if for whatever reason we can't get to the grocery store for an extended period of time, or we run out of certain things like milk or cheese or whatever, I could still have an Alfredo sauce. So let's see what's in this Bertolli Alfredo. Ingredients: water, cream, butter, and then it lists what's in butter, which is the sweet cream and the salt. Grated Parmesan, cheese, And then it lists what's in the Parmesan cheese, which is, skim milk and cheese cultures, salt and enzymes. Soybean oil, modified food starch, enzyme modified egg yolk, non-fat dry milk, American sherry cooking wine, whey, sodium phosphate, xanthan gum, yeast extract, garlic powder, black pepper, natural flavors. And then of course, the ingredients like the American sherry cooking wine, it goes ahead and it lists what's in that, which, is a wine grape alcohol with salt and potassium and metabusulfite, and which is a preservative. So there's quite a bit of stuff in this. So bechamel sauce is basically a white sauce, which is what we're making. And then we're adding cheese to it, which kind of turns it into an Alfredo. So let's get going. Okay, I'm going to use about 6 tablespoons of butter. We'll get that melting in the pan. And then I'm going to soften these onions just a little bit. I'm not looking to caramelize these onions, but I do want to soften them just a little bit. So we'll just give those 2-3 minutes. And in goes the mushrooms. I don't need to cook all the liquid off these mushrooms because I'm making a sauce. And actually the liquid off of these mushrooms is going to also add flavor to our Alfredo sauce. So that's a good thing. Those mushrooms smell so good. Okay, now I'm going to add the garlic. And you're probably aware that you don't want to scorch or burn garlic because it imparts a really bitter flavor. So after you get that garlic in, you want to make sure that you don't scorch it. So I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. And oh boy, now it really smells good. That garlic smells amazing. Okay, so I'm starting to get a little bit of a fond on the bottom of our pan, which is those little brown bits. And this step isn't necessary, but I do have a little bit of Chardonnay on hand, so I'm going to add a little bit of this. And you could do this with chicken broth or even water. Just any liquid will. Look how it already has cleaned up the bottom of that pan. And also the Chardonnay adds a little bit of flavor to our sauce. Like I said, if you don't have wine, you do not have to add that to your Alfredo sauce. It is kind of fun though when you have it to go ahead and try these things. Okay, now we're going to be adding cheese to this sauce, which will thicken it up, and we're also going to add some cream, which will also thicken it up. And I don't want my Alfredo sauce to be pasty. I want it to be rather smooth and have a little bit of a creamy texture and kind of coat the spoon, but not be thick like a macaroni and cheese sauce. So I'm going to add a little bit of flour, but I'm only going to add let's measure it. And this is a 1/4 cup. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon. I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons. So we've got 2 tablespoons of flour in here. And it's going to create a roux with all the fat in the pan, that 6 tablespoons of butter that we put in there. And you can see it's kind of already picked up all that liquid that was in the pan. And now I'm going to add 2 cups of chicken broth or chicken stock if you have it. And we will let this thicken up. Now, if you're gluten intolerant, you would not obviously add the flour. You could add your broth and your liquid and then thicken this with either xanthan gum or cornstarch or even arrowroot and some of those other non-gluten thickeners. I don't know if the camera's picking this up, but the broth that I put in now has a little bit of a thickness to it. It smells heavenly. Okay, in goes the spinach. It made it really pretty, didn't it? And 1 teaspoon of the dehydrated sweet red bell pepper flakes. This adds flavor and also a really pretty color to the dish. I don't have any more fresh parsley on hand, so we're going to use dehydrated. 1 teaspoon. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of the nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is one of the primary ingredients when you buy chicken bouillon. It's got a lot of umami flavor, but it also has some really wonderful health benefits. And like I said, I think I'll talk about that in another video, but let's get the asparagus in there and get that warmed up. Ooh, that adds a whole new texture to our sauce. That looks really good. 1 cup of cream. Okay, diced up that little bit of cream cheese and the Gruyere cheese, which has nice flavor, but it also melts up really nice. And then my homemade Parmesan. And the Parmesan cheese is where you really get that punchy flavor and the cheese flavor in the Alfredo sauce. And it will take a few minutes for these cheeses to melt. Oh, I'm liking the consistency of this. It looks really good. Now, you notice I have not added any salt, and I don't want to add salt until the cheese has melted and is incorporated in the sauce, and then I can taste it and see how much salt it needs, because as you know, cheese has quite a bit of salt in it, so I don't want to add it until I can give this a taste. I haven't decided if I'm going to add the beef to this or if I should warm the beef on the side and then assemble it. That would be really pretty, and maybe that's what I'll do. Some of this is a little bit rare, so maybe I should just warm that separately. That would only take a few minutes. Let's use a little bit of ghee for the beef. Okay, I'm gonna give this a taste and let's see if it needs any adjusting. Oh, that's really good. I like that. It needs pepper. Just a little bit more salt. Okay, I really like the way this turned out. Okay, we're just about ready here. It's amazing that it smells really, really good. The beef is warm. The raviolis are warm. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese, just a little bit of green onion. Wow, what do you guys think? I think it looks beautiful. Now for the taste test, right? It's so good.